Alright folks, welcome back to the 10th and hopefully final week at the minute of me going through Phase 4 of the MCU. Today we'll be deep diving into a film most people are expecting a lot from, and that is Multiverse of Madness. Hopefully you should know by now this is a Doctor Strange sequel. It's the 28th film in the MCU and was directed by Sam Raimi, along with being written by Michael Waldron. In the film, Strange protects a new multiversal hero named America Chavez from the corrupt Scarlet Witch. Our main hero is once again played by Benedict Cumberbatch. America Chavez is played by Ixochitl Gomez. I know I pronounced that wrong, but believe me, she's a great actress in it. Scarlet Witch is once again played by Elizabeth Olsen. Benedict Wong returns as the new Sorcerer Supreme Wong. Michael Sternlag returns as Nicodemus West, who is no longer questioning his tactics as a doctor, but now questioning him as being a hero. Rachel McAdams returns as Christine Palmer, who's now happily married, and also a version of her who is just as lonely as Strange. And finally, Chitwell Ejiofor returns as an alternate Mordor who is Sorcerer Supreme of his world. The original director of the first movie, Scott Derrickson, said he had plans for a sequel in October 2016. He said he wanted it to be the Dark Knight type of a sequel, where he gets to go more deeper with the character. It was also known that Cumberbatch was signed on for at least another film. The director originally wanted the villain Nightmare to appear, with Jonathan Pangborn and Hammer to have more development rather than just having small roles again. The original film's co-writer John Spates also expressed interest in having Clea make her debut. An official announcement for a Doctor Strange sequel was then made in April 2017, and Derrickson would be returning. By December 2018, it seemed Cumberbatch, Wong and McAdams were reprising their roles, and Marvel were looking for a writer, with The Hollywood Reporter saying that the script would be written during 2018 for filming to begin in 2020 and a release in 2021. Feige and Derrickson announced the film's title at San Diego Comic-Con 2019 with a release date of May 7th, 2021. This was also when the director said he hoped for it to become the first horror film of the MCU, with co-producer Richie Palmer explained that they were going to explore how mad the multiverse can be, while exploring the monsters that dwell within us. Feige's comments confirmed that WandaVision would be a direct setup for the film, and that Elizabeth Olsen would be appearing. Rumours also circulated around that Tom Hiddleston would be appearing after Loki's finale, however nothing sadly happened. Upcoming screenwriter Jade Haley Bartlett was then hired to write the screenplay in October 2019. However, that December, Feige had to clarify that this wasn't actually a horror film, as reports said it was, but it would still include quote-unquote scary sequences. He also said it was in good hands since Derrickson had experience with the genre before. But things didn't work out by January 2020, when both the company and director announced he was no longer in the role due to creative differences. Both said they were thankful for working together, and even then, he remained as an executive producer on the film. Although it seemed that they were kinda confident still, since filming was still set to begin in May 2020. C. Robert Cargill, who wrote on the original film with the director, has gone on to say that they had not finished the draft they were writing, so most of the ideas they had wouldn't really be in the film most likely. However, things didn't seem bad for the director because he went on to work on another project releasing this year named The Black Phone. A lot of rumours spread around what Marvel really wanted from the film, but Feige responded saying that they still loved the intention of doing a creepier film and they were going to carry on doing that idea. Raimi went on to enter negotiations for the director role by early February. It was also said at the time that Mordor would be appearing while McAdams dropped out. Raimi went on to sign on a few weeks later, saying he was still very hesitant with what happened to Spider-Man 3, but he wanted the challenge of working on the film straight away, and he was a massive fan of the character along with the first film the studio made. He has gone on to admit he had to get familiar with directing again after his last project was from 2013, and he even got to restudy the whole of the MCU for its storylines and characters. Meanwhile, Waldron had 3 weeks to write a brand new script based on the previous work by Derrickson and Bartlett. Raimi honestly said he was panicking at the time, but once COVID hit and made Phase 4's release dates go back, he felt they had way more time to write their own script in their own times. Waldron made sure to watch the Raimi trilogy and described this film as being Raimi's big return to superhero movies, and said it would include every aspect of a Raimi film. He also used his experience of writing on Rick and Morty for the film. Along with the Raimi trilogy, he rewatched the first Doctor Strange film several times, saying he practically studied it like a student to understand the character's original journey. The creative team were also allowed to see early work on What If to see how Strange was portrayed in it. Waldron made sure to work closely with Olsen and WandaVision's head writer Jack Schaefer to make sure her character's story was a satisfying continuation of the series, and Raimi made sure to also study the series as well. Overall, also made several adjustments to the script so moments wouldn't feel too similar to the series. For the thriller tone in the film, inspiration to Waldron was from Aliens. He said seeing this badass space marine team getting killed by the aliens was very much what made him want to have Scarlet Witch kill a new powerful team like the Illuminati. The film's release was shifted back a second time at the end of April 2020, after Sony moved No Way Home's date. Waldron was already in contact with the film's writers, Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, so changing parts to make it work as a film to come out after No Way Home was no trouble. Casting-wise, Chitwell confirmed his involvement in that June, and Gomez joined the cast that October. Around the same time, Cumberbatch revealed filming would start in London at the beginning of November. Originally, film was expected to begin in May 2020 but was delayed due to COVID. Olsen began filming her scenes on November 25th, shooting back-to-back with WandaVision, which overall was an odd experience for her. Around December, McAdams finally signed on to return, which was then announced on December 10th along with Chitwell, Wong and Gomez. Cumberbatch then began filming his scenes after working on No Way Home. Many actors such as Olsen, Cumberbatch and Wong were excited to work with the director. Overall, he encouraged improvisation since they know the characters way more than him and how they would react. Often parts of the script's dialogue would be rewritten before some of the filming. The ending of the film still wasn't decided by the time. Cumberbatch just further on went on to say that it took them a good while to find an ending that tied together all the characters' stories well. Waldron didn't want to make a happy ending after the events of the film and wanted Strange to suffer from his actions, which resulted in the third eye scene. This also very much ties into Mordo's warning in the first film. Olsen very much felt the horror vibe, with even saying it had aspects which the Evil Dead films had. John Mathewson served as the film's cinematographer. However, another lockdown happened in England from January 6, 2021, which stopped filming. Filming then resumed in early 2021. By mid-March, Cumberbatch said they were in the middle of production and Chitwell began filming his scenes by then. On April 15th, Feige then went on to say they were in the final week of filming. Around then, both Jet Colline and Julian Hillard began their filming for the scenes of Maximoff's kids, and both were confirmed to be appearing in April of this year. Bob Marzocchi and Tia Noland served as the film's editors, with some additional photography being completed by mid-September 2021, with Olsen and Wong completing their work. The film was delayed again to May 6, 2022. Cumberbatch went on to confirm they were in the middle of additional photography, along with saying reshoots were set for November and December. The film's teaser was then released in late December, confirming Michael's involvement as West. Reshoots then reportedly finished during the week of December 13th. However, filming continued in early 2022 and was then completed on January 8th. Although after test screenings, Cumberbatch was again working on reshoots in the UK by March 13th. The Illuminati were confirmed to be appearing in the film by March, and it features actors portraying new versions of characters they have already worked on in previous projects. Patrick Stewart plays a different version of Professor X that combines elements from different versions of him, including him saying a line from Days of Future Past, and elements such as the chair from the animated series. Chitwell would be playing an alternate version of Mordor. Hilly Atwell plays a live-action version of Captain Carter after voicing a version of her in What If. Lashana Lynch plays a version of Maria Rambeau, who becomes Captain Marvel himself, and Anson Mount plays a more accurate version of Black Bolt after how badly the Inhuman show did him. Then finally, John Krasinski plays Mr. Fantastic for the first time due to many fan castings. Their scenes were filmed in pieces, with many of the actors not actually being on set together. Krasinski was originally not in the film and had to do scenes in reshoots since Daniel Craig was originally meant to be playing a role in that scene, but didn't do it due to the COVID scares. Originally, Waldron wanted to include Namor, who was a member in the comics, but unfortunately Marvel already have plans for him in the MCU. Rumours heavily spread that Tom Cruise would be playing an alternate Iron Man, since he originally had that role before Robert Downey Jr. took it, and Waldron was even interested to do it, but Cruise wasn't contacted due to being busy with the Mission Impossible films. As you know, Clea is being introduced by Charles Z. Furman, with Waldron saying they wanted to do more with her, but they wanted to resolve the relationship between Strange and Palmer first, so they decided to introduce her in a mid-credits scene. Originally, Michael Giacchino was set to compose this film like the original in October 2019. However, when Derrickson left and Raimi took over, Danny Elfman took over that role. He went on to begin work on the music during filming in January 2021, but did not properly begin working on it another several months later. A frequent collaborator of his, Steve Bartek, worked on the score through Zoom. Previously done music in the film was the original film's theme, the WandaVision theme, the X-Men animated series theme, and the first Avenger theme. The film had its premiere in Hollywood on May 2nd and then was released in the UK on May 5th and the US on May 6th. The film has so far made $349.2 million in the US and $461.7 million everywhere else, overall making $810.9 million. It earned $42 million alone from pre-sales and even beat The Batman in pre-sales within 24 hours. Critically, Rotten Tomatoes gave the film a 74% based on 401 reviews, and Metacritic gave it a 60 out of 100 based on 65 reviews. What I liked about this film personally is that it's very much an MCU film where you have to have the knowledge from the previous projects such as WandaVision, No Way Home, What If, and the first Doctor Strange film itself, while still being a Sam Raimi film. Even then, a brilliant example of showing this is very much how we had the classic camera spins in a Raimi film, but the worlds are now being CGI enhanced, but overall it still does feel old school like the other Raimi films. We also have jump scares to go back to the Evil Dead routes, which we have a classic Bruce Bell cameo as well, where he gives us the usual MCU humour. I could say there are too many fight scenes, but even then, they keep things interesting in each fight, doing new things, especially the musical note battle between the two strangers at the end of the film. This is overall an entertaining and fun movie, although I can say people are just over exaggerating about how quote unquote bad it is, just because they're expecting an entirely different film in their heads. Overall a respectable 4 out of 5 or a 8 out of 10 for me. I also wouldn't exactly blame fans for thinking this was a different film. Some of the marketing team at the MCU definitely made this seem like it was going to be a bigger cameo fest film, but overall this is a great film without even having too many cameos apart from the Illuminati and a couple more from here and there, again like Bruce Campbell. I haven't really got entirely a lot to say really, as I usually say at the end of most of these videos thinking about it. But yeah, this was a great film. I love Sam Raimi as a director. As you should know, Spider-Man 2 is my favourite film, and yeah, I just think this is a good combination between MCU and Raimi. What are your thoughts on the movie, guys? If you've also got any other facts about it, please comment them down below. Also, please consider liking if you like the video, and if you've been watching the MCU videos for a good while now, please consider subscribing. All these things that I just mentioned there aren't the biggest priority to me. I like talking about stuff that interests me and also getting to edit, but you know, as a YouTube channel, it is a nice little extra perk. But anyways, I haven't got a lot to really say, and I'm not sure what the next video after this will be. Honestly, make sure to check out the Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, all the ads on the screen right now, to get some further updates. So yeah, I guess I'll catch you for whatever I decide to talk about next, and peace.
If you've got to be sure, switch to Tide Pods. Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, only in theaters May 6th.